You know you're getting older when your relationship with food becomes strategic. At 25, I could eat spicy pad thai at midnight and sleep like a baby. Now, at 71, I realize that every meal is a gamble. Is this dish a tasty delight or a slow burning biohazard ready to erupt at a moment's notice? One wrong swallow, and I'm negotiating with my lower GI at 2 a.m. Please, just let me sleep. And I swear I'll never touch that pesto sauce again. My spice rack was once overflowing with exotic seasonings from the four corners of the earth. Now it's a dusty graveyard with a jar of cloves that predates Wi Fi, a cinnamon stick that is legally considered a fossil, and a bottle of cumin I last used during the Bush administration. The first one. Curry and hot sauce have been replaced by salt and pepper. Just spicy enough to remind you you're still alive, but not enough to need a medic. And if aging is the anti spice of life, there is another byproduct of the food we eat as we get older: flatulence, the medical term for farting, has been proven to increase as we age. Researchers who get to the bottom of these things have identified a number of factors for this occurrence. Swallowed air is the chief culprit, with loose fitting dentures and frequent sipping of hot beverages like coffee and tea, just some of the ways older folks accomplish this feat. Air goes in one end and out the other. The other reason is the simple fact that as we get older, our metabolism slows down. The food we eat stays longer in our intestines, so there is more time to percolate before leaving our bodies. Basically, we all become human crockpots, low and slow, with something always bubbling. Used to be I could feel one coming. Now, there's often no warning, no pressure buildup, just a spontaneous release. In other words, the lower GI is not asking my brain for permission to speak. I'll be standing in the produce aisle at the grocery store, reaching for a banana, and suddenly there's an announcement. So, yes, aging comes with digestive dealings, culinary compromises, and the unexpected voice from your nether regions. But meals aren't about thrill seeking as I get older. They're about comfort, memory, and occasionally a little mischief. A bowl of soup that reminds you of your mother. A piece of toast you can actually chew. A dinner that doesn't fight back. I may no longer dine like a world traveler, but I eat like someone who's earned the right to sit down, slow down, and enjoy the blessings of good food and drink. And if that comes with a little background music from the horn section, well, that's just the soundtrack for a life well lived.
Well, we reach an age where we're grateful just to be living, but we can't keep eating like every day's Thanksgiving. Time to cut back on the pies and mashed potatoes. Try changing it up with some veggies and tomatoes. Fiber, protein, and hydration, that's a healthy combination. These days we need to think about heart health and muscle tone. Avoid frustration and isolation and eat more things that have grown. A nice big bowl of berries and yogurt, good for the gut. Don't forget to exercise, it might keep you from cracking up. Fiber, protein, and hydration, that's a healthy combination. They say there's value in making meals a social event. Just make sure your entree keeps your stomach content. I guess it's still okay to have a cocktail when you're done. After all, what good is a social event if you can't have a little fun? Fiber, protein, and hydration, that's a healthy combination. Now I have some friends and classmates that gather monthly for lunch. Sometimes it's a small group, sometimes there's a bunch. Jervy's always got some news to pass on about this or that. We're all too busy having fun to worry about getting fat. Fiber, protein, and hydration, that's a healthy combination. Fiber, protein, and hydration, that's a healthy combination. All right.
Siri, I need a low sodium, high fiber, anti-inflammatory, gluten-free dinner recipe that doesn't taste like cardboard.
Searching. Result: steamed kale on a rice cake. Flavor profile: sadness with a hint of despair.
Okay, fine. Well, how about something comforting? You know, like my mother used to make.
I've got a vegan recipe for meatballs and marinara. That should do the trick.
Italian meatballs without meat. Are you crazy? That's not a memory. That's a crime.
Richard, your mother also thought butter was a separate food group, and heavy cream was nectar from the gods. I found 5 recipes and 1 cardiologist near you.
I just want to enjoy dinner without needing a nap, or a Tums, or an update to my last will and testament.
Have you tried simply smelling food and imagining flavor? Very low risk. Practically zero digestion involved.
You know, Siri, back in my day, we didn't have to consult a digital therapist to decide between flavor and nutrition.
Back in your day, Richard, food had ingredients no one could pronounce and zero shame. Now your digestive tract files a complaint every time you eat a slice of white bread.
Why do I even talk to you?
Because your real friends Don't want to hear about your gout, your gas, or your relationship with bran cereal. I'm all you've got, Richard.
So, what do you suggest for dinner that will taste good and help me lose weight?
How about roasted vegetables with angel hair pasta and olive oil? It's not your mother's cooking, but your taste buds and arteries might be delighted.
Actually, I think my mother would approve.
Thank you, Richard.
Arrivederci, Siri. When all is said and done, food isn't just fuel for the body. It's ritual, it's memory, it's connection. It's how we care for ourselves and how we show consideration and affection for others. One plate, one cup, one shared laugh at a time. Even as our ingredients change and our appetites shift, the act of eating remains one of the last truly communal things we do. We gather, we nibble, we tell stories. Sometimes we even listen. Food marks time. Birthdays, holidays, losses, recoveries. We remember people by the meals they made for us: a grandmother's pie, a partner's lasagna, That one friend who always brought weird hummus to the potluck. Meals can outlast the people who made them, and in that way they become a kind of inheritance, passed from one generation to the next, with stained recipe cards, mismatched Tupperware, and the muscle memory of love. So, no, I may not dine like a thrill seeker anymore, but as I get older, I eat with a kind of reverence for what's on the plate, for whom I share it with. And for that, I am forever thankful.